The state of New York is a perfect case study on why viral activity score by the CDC is a terrible measure, in addition to how it misrepresents data. In New York, they use a strict tiered scale system, where once the viral RNA level hits a certain threshold, it's put into a category such as low, moderate, or different levels of high. Blowing this up, there are two important things to take away. One is that there's 173 sewer sheds, and the second is that nothing is at low levels in New York. And when we talk about this, we're going to think about it as New York having an absolute scale, while the CDC has a relative scale. The difference here being an absolute scale is that it's always the same, while a relative scale changes based on superfluous parameters. And when we look to New York State's wastewater surveillance map reported by the CDC and the NWSS program, where everything's been converted to a viral activity score, we see a lot of dark blue. And we see that dark blue is very low levels, and this lighter blue is also low levels of COVID. And it's also very important to note that this data is the exact same as this data. But to be fair, they split New York into New York and New York City, as shown here. But again, it's also reported as low and maybe moderate low or low moderate. So first off, the numbers don't match. They're reporting 14 sites in New York City, while New York is reporting 147 sites. So the CDC is claiming that there's only 161 wastewater facilities reporting, while New York is reporting 173 wastewater facilities, a 12 facility discrepancy. The next point is that the viral activity level reported by the CDC is downgrading the severity of the wastewater level. So again, this is what the NWSS and the CDC report, where they're saying that it's very low in New York City, while New York State's own data, which is an absolute scale, is showing it at very high levels within these three tiers right here. That's a pretty big discrepancy. And for reference, this is New York City over here. And when we look to the rest of the state, we're seeing a lot of dark blue all throughout, with a little bit in the higher categories over here and over here, where New York State, who run their entirely own wastewater surveillance program for COVID, do show high levels over here and here, but they're much broader. And then they also show a smattering of high levels all throughout the northern section, where again, they don't have anything at low levels. The lowest that they have is at moderate levels, which perfectly paints why this relative scale that the CDC uses, the viral activity score, is terrible. Because every 6 months, they're readjusting the baseline so that they can say, oh, from the baseline, we're not that far away. Well, if your baseline is high and you're not that far away from high, then it's going to pretend that, oh, your data is low, when in reality, it's not.